what's called slug test. Again, that gives you a ballpark number for what we call the hydraulic conductivity. That's just a number that says the higher that number, the faster water can move through the. So I'm going to tell you my estimate. It's less than 100 feet a year most of the time. Now, on average, would be for actual movement of water. Well, that's 100 feet a year. Now, we're going to have a better number for that when our eyes completed, but it's not likely to be significantly higher. We're not talking half a mile a year. You know, we're talking something less than a foot a day. Makes differences. Dry and wet years make differences because they change the water elevation. They don't change how fast, you know, the physical property of the soil, how coarse those are, like water moves faster through sands than through sills. It won't change that. But it can change that gradient, that house with the elevation of the water with distance. And that's the driver. That's the driver force for getting water to move. You saw some of the pictures of the effects of irrigation, so you know that seasonally these things change too. So one of the questions we've got is, okay, you've got these seasonal changes, and there are big changes on that northeastern part of the site. Well, what is the average for the year? That's really what the water's going to see. It's what's going to drive the water. And that number we don't have right now. I mean, that's part of our eye. But still, you're not going to see something less than a day, less than 100 feet a year.
That's overall.
Justin, yes, sir.
I was wondering why they used to prepare this presentation was over a year old. Kind of a two-part question. When did you guys in the gathering of data realize that their contamination migrated off the site? And what do you foresee the effect of shutting off that well?
Okay, good questions. See if I can remember all of you. Yeah, the mind is what I got. Let's start with why they use those data. Okay, these maps, most of them came from the 2008 annual report. In that report, ARC produces a lot of good graphics for the data. You know, they compare the distributed data to us quarterly, but some graphics don't have this format, so that's why we use this. So that's why we chose 2008. Now, before 2008, the hydrogeologic framework assessment actually started about 2005, more or less. Yeah, and we got our first round of deep wells now. We did a lot of borings, deep wells. Didn't have any shallow wells, so we didn't have any shallow wells or deep wells over the site. Couldn't produce any maps like that. Okay, we didn't get those until 2007, somewhere in there. We started getting data first part of 2008 and some of that.
First data was 2007. We really had good data group by.
Right. Yeah, we had a good data group by middle of 2008, and actually by the end of 2008, you can see some of the trends. And I really invite everybody to look at, say, any quarterly report, especially the annual report, because go to the Pennsy, by the way. You'll find good time concentration trends on these chemicals. You'll find some good maps. So anyway, that's why we're using those data. So, okay, question, we really started finding out information about the shallow zone particularly, which is where we see a lot of years contamination right now. First data came out, like you said, probably mid or late 2007, or at least the first sampling. So the data, first picture was maybe the first part of 2008, and maybe by mid-2008, we're starting to get a better picture of what was happening. Now, second question. Okay, pumpback wells is the big shut-off, right? You know, there have been some trials and evaluating the effectiveness of the pump back well system through time. And its initial work looks like it's not a full capture system like it's probably originally envisioned. So, as part of this last year, the pump back system was shut off in part to be able to understand, one, what is the natural water flow without that system, so that we can then get the hydraulic ratings, and as you turn this thing back on, hopefully get hydraulic conductivities to really do a full evaluation of how effective is this, what would be needed for effective system. Yes, sir.
So if we come to the conclusion that the pump back well system is ineffective, and correct me if I'm wrong, with the interim measures going on, or would it be considered an interim measure? Will there be an interim measure to mitigate that if it's not working? I mean, an interim measure to say human health and life doesn't work.
Good question. Since I'm a tech guy, I don't have to answer that.
So we're looking at, a lot of the interim measures we're looking at now have to do with protecting people's drinking water. And so, I mean, it is a priority to have barriers to prevent contamination from moving off site. And I wouldn't say that we're going to implement additional interim measures at this time. We have to reach a decision whether it's better to move forward with this remedial investigation feasibility study. Would that be a quicker path, or would it be more reasonable to consider additional interim measures? So when we get our groundwater work group, protective group together, we're open to discussing all these questions. For now, we don't foresee implementing additional interim actions for groundwater, other than possibly taking further action to protect drinking water, which is more of the point of use through bottled water or other things.
I want to say that EPA's recommendations for approving the domestic well sampling program, those were a lot of the things that we were going to request tonight, so we're happy to see they're already in place. But one of the things that we would like to see is that anyone who requests to be put on the sampling events, that they would be added. We know quite a few families that have requested, they call the ground call water person, and they're told no, at this point in time. We do believe, especially because of the sampling event in June, there were houses put on only because we requested in May that with the pump back being turned off, these people, that anybody who wanted to be sampled could be. They expanded it to everyone on Locust and Lucier. But there are people, especially families that are literally just off Lucier, that will refuse to be sampled again. At the end of Locust, a home that was sampled June of 2006, their uranium level was 6.2. They were only sampled this past June because we fought for that extended monitoring, and their uranium was 41. So we believe that anyone who wants to be on the sampling program needs to be added to it, and everyone who requests that can be sampled in your new system here, no matter how often it is. So we'll add that in to our request. And then, now this kind of doesn't have to do with the groundwater, but I do think something needs to be clarified in a newspaper article about the city's letter opposing listing the site. I don't think the letter, newspaper article said it, but I have a copy of their letter that they CC'd to me, and they say that the site is a Superfund site. That needs to be clarified because the urine from my side is not a Superfund site. It's not even a Superfund alternative site. And so I really think that needs to be clarified. Is the urine from my side a Superfund site?
No, it is